you guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. For today I thought it'd be fun to like sit down and kind of do, sorry my shoulder's like so itchy right now. Ugh. I thought it'd be fun to kind of like sit down and show you guys a makeup look for beginners, like a very simple, easy to achieve makeup look. Now I chose all affordable like drugstore products for this video because if you're a beginner in makeup, chances are you don't want to go into Sephora and buy $500 worth of makeup to try because you're a beginner. You know what I mean? It's unrealistic. So I figured for this video I would do all drugstore, all affordable, but these are like quality products. Like these are quality products that like I reach for. You know what I mean? So yeah, so if you guys are interested in seeing a makeup look for beginners, then keep watching. Got like the studio lights, you guys, so now I don't have to like rely on the sunlight. So right now it's just like, it is sunny outside, but I closed my shades and I just have like my studio lights on right now, and this is like so awesome. It's so exciting. I already have my eyes primed just because unfortunately I didn't have a like affordable primer. I could have used concealer, but I kind of like this primer for my eyelids that I've been using lately, so I wanted to use that. But you guys can use whatever works for you. Concealer does work really good for me. Lately I've been very into the this eye primer that I've been using, so I wanted to use that. So I'm in between two palettes. So I have the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette too, which looks like, oh, look what I did. I jabbed it. Whatever. So this is what the Mad for Matte 2 palette looks like. So it's all mattes. And then I chose this one. This is probably the most expensive thing out of all these products. This is the Jaclyn and Morphe palette. This palette retails for $28. So sorry you guys, this palette actually retails for $38. I believe it's like 26, 27, 28 around there. It's not more than 30, I know that. But I chose this one just because I feel like if you're a beginner and you really want to get into makeup, I feel like this palette has everything. You have your neutrals, you have your warm tones, you have your pops of color. You literally have everything that you need right here. If you want to do a dramatic look, you have it here. If you want to do a natural look, you have it all on this palette. So I feel like for somebody that's just starting out in makeup that really wants to get into eyeshadows and whatnot, I feel like the Jaclyn and Morphe palette is definitely a great place to start. And it's not going to break the bank. It is more expensive than the rest of these products, but this one is $28, and I really do think that if you want to try out eyeshadow, I definitely think you should get this one. Oh my god, I really can't talk today. Get this one because not only does it have everything, but these are quality shadows in my opinion. I definitely feel like Morphe is one of the few brands that I definitely am never disappointed when it comes to their eyeshadows. So I feel like for beginners, like this is definitely like a good one. The Mad for Matte 2 is very good. This one is only $10. This one is a lot more cheaper than the Morphe palette, but as you can see, you don't get as many colors as you do in this one. So I think I honestly am gonna shoot for the Jaclyn Hill palette because I want to show you guys what I'm talking about when I say like quality and like everything. So I'm gonna jump into that palette. So since this is a tutorial for beginners, I'm not gonna do a crazy like hot pink or like really intense like eyeshadow look. I'm gonna keep it pretty basic, which is pretty much what I do on like the regular basis anyway. So I'm going to go into this shadow right here. This is the third shadow in the palette. I'm going to zoom you guys in for this too, so you guys can like kind of see what I'm doing on my eyes. So like I said, I'm going to jump into this third shade here. And I am using mainly affordable brushes. I pretty much only use like Morphe and like Real Techniques brushes for the most part, which can both be found at Ulta, which is amazing. So yeah, so I'm using a Morphe M518 brush for my crease. Just going in with that third shade of the palette. So I always start like right in my crease, and I always say this in my videos, but you can always apply more products. You don't want to go in with too much of a heavy hand when you're first applying like your initial crease shade, just because it's a lot harder to blend out. If you feel like you want to intensify your crease more, just remember that you always can. You want to hold the brush more towards the end of it just because it gives you less control, but that's what you want. You don't want to go in and have full control over the brush, and you just want it to just go on nice and smoothly. You don't want to have like too much control I want to use. I want to go down to the second row and jump into this shade. As you can see, like, I really like abuse this palette in the first shade in the second row. Wow. And I'm just going to use the same crease brush, and I'm just going to go over that first shade that we just used. That we just put in our eye, on our eye. So you just want to go back, and you don't want to apply too much pressure, because then that's going to make the shadow apply harsh, and that's the last thing that you want. I like to raise my eyebrows when I'm applying color in my crease, because it makes it apply smoother. You know what I mean? When you like stretch it out, it's like it makes your eyes more smooth. So if you have like little creases or like little fine lines in your crease, this will kind of smooth them out and make it easier for you to blend your shadow in your crease, which is always what you want. You always want your crease to look nice and like seamless. Take a cleaner, fluffy brush and just go back in my crease and just kind of go over those two shades. This is going to kind of diffuse it if it's too harsh, or it's going to blend any harsh lines away. And since it doesn't have any product on it, it makes it better because it's going to take away some of that extra product that you may have applied by accident. And then you can always go back in with that first brush and just go over your crease again if you want. Alright, so since we are keeping this pretty simple, I'm going to take this shade right here. This shade looks like this. It's a very pretty, like sheen, peachy, not peachy, like rosy tone. I always feel like neutrals and like little cute rosy looks on the eyes are always very easy to achieve, especially when you're a beginner. I know that when I was a beginner, the Urban Decay, what was it? The Naked 3, that's the rosy one. That was like my ride or die. Like that was the palette that I always reached for, and that I knew that I could always rely on when I was just starting out in makeup. Alright, so I'm just gonna pick that up on this flat brush. You wanna go in on your lid with a flatter brush like this. This one is like the dual-ended one that comes in the Urban Decay palettes, because this is really gonna pack the color on for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dip my brush into that shade. I'm going to take this Essence Keep It Perfect makeup fixing spray and just spritz my brush. What this is going to do is this is going to take that shimmer shade and intensify it for you, and I love this. I just think it's just such a, like an easy way to achieve a nice, like shimmery eyelid, which is what we all want, right? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop it on my eyelid. You can see how that just gave it a really pretty shimmer on the lid. You can use any kind of setting spray that you have. You can even use eye drops. I mostly use, where is it? I'm mainly going with MAC Fix Plus just because I feel like it really gives you a nice intense like eye base. But you don't always have to, you don't have to do it. Like, I mean, this is from Essence, and I think this is like $3, and I mean it's doing the exact same thing that the MAC Fix Plus does, so. Alright, so now that we have that lid shade on, as you can see, it is pretty harsh when I close my eyes between the lid and the crease, and you don't want that. You want everything to look like it's all blended and seamless. So I'm going to take my fluffy brush again and go back in with that first shade that we put in our crease and just put a little bit more on my brush. I'm just going to go over my crease. What this is going to do is this is really going to make everything look seamless and blend everything together, kind of make it look as one, which is exactly what you want. Alright, so you could totally leave the eyes like this, put a little mascara on or eyeliner, and you're good. But me, I like to always deepen up my outer corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade in the palette, this like pukey kind of like brown shade, and I'm going to take this like this brush like this. It looks like that. I'm just going to work it on my outer corner. What it's going to do is it's going to add some definition to your eye, which I always love. I always feel like it just makes your eyes look just like they pop more. So I'm just gonna gently, I'm just gonna kind of press it. I'm not gonna like blend it just, I'm just gonna use this brush and just kind of press it like that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start blending it with that brush. I'm gonna also blend it into my crease as well. Alright, so now I'm going to go back in with that original fluffy brush that we used and just blend everything together. Alright, so I'm going to take that same brush again and go back in with that rosy shade. Since we did kind of blend a lot just now, it kind of blended away a little bit of the pink on the eye, so I just want to add a little bit more. I'm just going to put a little bit on my lid. Using that angled brush that we used on our outer corner, I'm just going to buff the edges of these two colors to kind of make them blend together. And then going in with that same first fluffy brush, let's go back and forth. Alright, so once you are finished with that step, the eyeshadow portion of this is complete. So you are done. You could leave it like this if you want, or you could add mascara or whatever. But me, I always like to add a little bit of eyeliner just because my eyes are very big and they kind of like droop in. I don't know, I kind of like hate my eyes, so I always add a little bit of eyeliner. Where is my eyeliner? Always add a little bit of eyeliner on my lash line. You don't have to do this, but trust me, practice makes perfect with this. I used to be horrible and I literally used to draw a line from here to here and just stop, and then the rest of my lid would be blank. So don't worry, we've all been there with eyeliner and everything. The one thing that I'm still trying to master is a wing. It ain't looking too good for a wing right now, but you know what, it's okay. So I'm gonna go in with the Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner in Serum. This is what it looks like. This is from the drugstore. I believe this retails for $10.99 or $9.99 or something like that. Believe it or not, this is actually like my go-to eyeliner right now. Like, I freaking love this eyeliner. It's even better because it's from the drugstore. So for this part, I may be out of frame just because I can't really see when I'm putting on eyeliner. So I'm going to bring the mirror pretty close and get pretty close to the mirror. And I do apologize if you can't really like see me applying it. But I just kind of like, you don't want to tug on your eye because that's how you get wrinkles, but I just kind of gently like pull like that and then just line my eye. Once you have your eyes done, you can go ahead and move on to your face. I always recommend doing your eyes first just because when you are dealing with shadow, it can fall out on your face and you don't want it to fall out on your concealer and your foundation and pretty much ruin everything that you just did. So I always recommend just doing your eyes first. Alright, so for primer today, it's very important to prep your skin for makeup. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. I really like this primer just because it is a hydrating primer and I love when my skin is hydrated because, especially around like my nose area, from blowing my nose so much during the winter, I get very, very dry. So this is just a regular hydration stick, so I'm just going to apply it like this. This also is a very affordable product. It is from e.l.f. and this I think is only $8, I believe. So for foundation today, I am going to be using the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation. This foundation is too dark for me, so I am mixing it with their white version of this foundation. So this is like to make foundations lighter. So I'm just going to be mixing these two together. LA Girl is also a very affordable drugstore brand. I believe this foundation is like $10.99 or something like that. And to be honest with you, it is definitely one of the best. First, I'm going to put the darker one on here. Do it like that. And then I'm going to take the white one and just kind of put it on top. And then this little like spatula thingy that came with this, I'm just going to mix it together. Alright, so now to blend the foundation in, I'm going to take my Morphe sponge. This is the Morphe Flawless Beauty Sponge. I really like this for foundation. I'm just going to use this to buff the foundation into my skin. The foundation on, moving on to concealer. I am going to be mixing two together. I'm going to be using the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer and then the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Both of these are very affordable. This one is $5 and this one is $6. So they are very affordable and they are good concealers. So this one is actually a full coverage concealer. I'm just using this one because it has like a pink undertone in it which cancels out darkness, so that's why I'm mixing the two of them together. Only thing that's not affordable in this video is going to be the beauty blender that I'm going to use to blend out the concealer under my eyes. I do like the Morphe sponge, but I don't like it for underneath my eyes. I mainly just like it for my face. It's not dense, it's not like skinny enough for underneath my eyes in my opinion, so I do still love my beauty blender. So I'm just going to use this to buff out the concealer underneath my eyes. Once that concealer is blended out, I'm going to take my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder and I'm going to take this Morphe Y11 brush and just set that concealer. This powder is so freaking amazing, especially when it comes to setting the under eyes. It's so good. Right before you set your concealer, you want to make sure you go back in with your sponge and just blend out any creases, because you obviously don't want to set the creases because then you'll just look like an old lady and nobody wants to do that. So just go back in with your sponge and smooth out your under eye. Alright, so now moving on to set the face. I'm not going to be using the Fit Me powder. I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro powder. And I'm going to take that Morphe sponge that I used for my foundation, and I'm going to dip it into the powder, and I'm going to use this powder to set my face. Alright, so before we move on to anything else on the face, I'm going to do my brows quickly off camera. I only use one brow product, and that is the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I love this. I stand by this. This is my ride or die brow pencil. So I'm just going to do my brows quickly off camera. You can do your brows however you want your brows. Don't ever let anybody tell you that they're too thick, they're too thin, they're too this, they're too that. They're your brows. You do your brows however you want to do your brows. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do your brows the way you want to do your brows. Do your brows the way you want to do them. So I will be right back. I have our brows on, so we are ready to move on to the rest of our face. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and bronze. I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And I'm just going to use this little Real Techniques contour brush. And I'm just going to use this to warm up the cheeks. You, of course, don't want to go in with a heavy hand, so just remember, less is more. If you want more, you can always add. Alright, so my favorite part when you do makeup, if you feel like you do too much, you can always take a dual fiber stippling brush, right? This is what that is, I think. A brush that looks like this, and you can always go over and just blend it out to kind of like diffuse it, you know? I also use this to dust off like any extra powder that I may have on my face. Alright, so now moving on to blush. I just purchased this blush, actually. This is from Flower Beauty. This is their Flower Pots brush. So I'm just going to take this brush. I'm going to use this blush to blush my cheeks. This is like such a pretty like peachy color. Hold on, it's like stuck to the packaging. Look at that color. It's like so beautiful. I love blushes like this. So I saw Jaclyn Hill in her most recent video use a fan brush to apply her blush, and that interests me a lot. So as you can see, that is what I've been doing, and I really love how this works. So I'm just going to dip my fan brush in the blush. Do you like see this? Look at my cat. What are you doing, girl? You're hanging out? You're hanging out? She's so cute. Alright, so I'm just going to use this brush to apply my blush. I feel like with the fan brush, it gives such like a softer application. It's just like, it's beautiful. So that is an intense blush. So I'm going to use that dual fiber brush again and just diffuse it. So I'm going to move on to my lower lash line now. I'm going to keep this part very simple for you guys because I don't want to complicate it for you and make you feel like that this is like a step that you need to do. I want to keep this very minimal and very just beginner friendly, you know? Alright, so I'm going to dive back into the Jaclyn Hill palette. And I'm going to use a flat definer brush. This is what it looks like. What, excuse me, what do you think you're doing, girl? Where are you going, Mama? Where are you going? Say hello. Say hello. Oh, you're so beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to use my Jaclyn Hill palette and I'm going to take, I love like a deeper lower lash line, so I'm going to take this shade right here in the palette using this flat definer brush. You can get this anywhere. Morphe sells one. I know Sigma makes one. I don't know who else makes one, but I know those two brands make one. So I'm just gently, there's a fuzz on here, gonna go line my lower lash line with this. Just like that. Nothing too crazy, nothing too intense, just like that. Keep it very, very simple. You don't want it to be like a super harsh line underneath there, so I'm gonna take this brush like this, and I'm just gonna dip into that shade very, very gently, and I'm just gonna like look up and just kind of buff out my lower lash line. So once that's done, I'm going to take this second shade in the Jaclyn Hill palette and use a pencil brush and use this to highlight my inner corner. I'm just going to go like this. This is really going to brighten up your eyes. So the last step for the eyes, this is my favorite part. I always do this. I'm going to take this LA Girl, what is this? Gel liner, I think, right? Yeah, this is an LA Girl gel liner in the shade whitened, and I'm gonna put this inside my waterline. So in case you guys can't tell what adding that white in the waterline does, it pretty much brightens up your eyes. It makes your eyes look bigger, which I truly love. I love when my eyes look bigger and they just look more awake. Like I really, really love that. So anyways, moving on to the rest of the face. Now we're on to the highlighting portion. So I have two highlighters I think I'm going to use. These are both from Wet n Wild. This one is, which one is this? Blossom Glow, and then this one is Golden Flower Crown. If you're looking for an affordable drugstore highlight, the Wet n Wild ones are really, really great. So I am just going to go ahead and use the Blossom Glow one first. Highlight the tops of my cheekbones with this. Now I'm just going to take the Golden Flower Crown, that's what it's called? Yeah. And then highlight with this one as well. So now that is done, so now I'm just going to put mascara on and all that stuff. I'm going to be using the Essence False Lash Mascara Effect. I love this stuff. I really think that this is a great mascara. Last step I'm going to do is set my brows. I'm using the Essence Make Me Brow Eye Gel Mascara. Oh, I forgot. I'm like forgetting so many steps. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this LA Girl Matte Flat Velvet Lipstick in the shade Ooh La La. It's like a pinky nude. See? I'm just going to apply that to my lips. Oh, that's very nude. I don't know how I feel about that. So over top of that, since that is very nude, I'm going to use the Maybelline Vivid Hot Lacquer in the shade Charmer and just place that over top. Alright, so the absolute last step of this entire process is to set your face. And I love setting my face. I love setting sprays. I really do think that it makes a difference. It melts all the powders together and it just really makes your makeup last longer, and I love it. So I'm going to use the Essence Keep It Perfect Makeup Fixing Spray and just spritz that all over my face. Alright, and the absolute last thing, I promise this is the last step. I am like so out of it right now, like I'm very hungry, so I'm like, keep saying this is the last step, no this is the last step, no this is the last step. No, this is really the last step. I'm going to apply a mascara to my lower lash, and I do this after I set my face because I don't want the mascara to run underneath my eyes when it gets wet, so that's why I like to do this last. So I'm just going to use the L'Oreal Telescopic and put that on my lower lash. That completes this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I know there is a lot of steps. I have hair in my mouth. But don't let makeup intimidate you. I promise you it's not that scary. Remember, practice always makes perfect. So the more you practice, the more you'll get the hang of it. And just remember, it's only makeup. You can always take it off and put it back on as many times as you feel like you have to. So yeah, that is all I have for you guys in this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you guys like my videos. But that's all I have for you in this one, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!